The election is being rigged by corrupt media pushing false allegations and outright lies.
But when I didn't win the election...
Trump is finally admitting that he lost in 2020. Now, you and I and 60 courts and the rest of the free world already knew this. So why is Trump saying it now? It's not what you think.
How do you think you'll do in the debate coming up? It's in a few days.
So I've done a lot of debating, only as a politician. I never debated. My first debate was the Rosie O'Donnell debate, right? The famous Rosie O'Donnell debate.
Let me interrupt here. This debate was only famous for two things. First, it showed the real Trump, a misogynistic prick who attacks people not present to defend themselves.
One of the things people love about you is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women. You've called women you don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Your Twitter account...
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
And it revealed the opportunistic Megyn Kelly, who attacked Trump.
Trump is a sexual predator.
But later endorsed him and promised this if Trump is brought to justice.
The country's going to burn.
So back to the question, why is Trump admitting 3.5 years later that he lost in 2020?
But I've done well with debates. I mean, I became president. Then the second time I got millions more votes than I got the first time. I was told if I got 63 million, which is what I got the first time, you would win. You can't not win. And I got millions of more votes than that and lost by a whisker.
There are three scenarios surrounding Trump saying or admitting that he lost. But before we get to that, let's recap. Trump is still facing felony charges over his attempt to overturn the 2020 election. As recently as this summer, he went on Truth Social with distortions, misinformation, and unfounded conspiracy theories about his defeat.
But this election is now over. Congress has certified the results. I don't want to say the election's over.
Trump launched not only an insurrection, but began a multi-year effort to undermine public confidence in our electoral process, all part of his Project 2025 plan to again seize power. And we all know this, and we've seen the results. There is evidence that his lies are resonating. Polling from the Associated Press shows that 57% of Republicans still believe Democrat Joe Biden was not legitimately elected as president.
The footage does not show an insurrection or a riot in progress. Instead, it shows police escorting protesters through the building.
Even though Biden's victory over Trump in 2020 wasn't even close, Biden won the Electoral College with 306 votes, Trump's 232, and the popular vote by more than 7 million ballots. But that didn't stop Trump. 4 people died on January the 6th, but that just fueled Tiny Finger's train of bullshit. And today, even members of Congress whose lives were threatened that day still actively support him.
There is no way that the American people are going to vote for a convicted criminal. They're not.
So I will be voting for Trump.
So back to the question, why would Trump admit to losing?
Just months before the 2024 election, Donald Trump has finally admitted that he did, in fact, lose the 2020 race to now President Joe Biden.
And I got millions of more votes than that and lost by a whisker.
I assume this was more of a slip of the tongue, and I doubt that Donald Trump's suddenly going to talk day in and day out about how he lost.
It's really not happening. Trump isn't admitting anything. He's simply revealing the depths of his mental illness.
Women living in the suburbs, I keep hearing about the suburban woman doesn't like Trump. Well, I think it's a fake poll, because why would they like me? I keep the suburbs safe. I stopped low-income towers from rising right alongside of their house.
Just this summer, Trump flip-flopped on marijuana legislation and on abortion. But that wasn't intentional either. He's flailing. Under the Harris surge in the polls, Trump's mental deterioration is becoming more and more pronounced. Which, under normal circumstances, would be, or should be, a nightmare. The man who openly supports Putin's attack on Ukraine.
Will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
Well, now say anything. He can't control it any longer.
Now this is the United States. When it came to Hillary, you remember, they subpoenaed her stuff and she bleach bit. That's where it's basically acid.
While Trump says he lost by a whisker or didn't get the votes, that's a whole lot different than admitting that Biden won. You won't hear him say that. And that is an indicator of his mental unwellness. And while that cognitive decline accelerates, the words escaping his lips will sound increasingly blurry.
We're not going to use the term, she said, illegal aliens. No, they are
illegal aliens, but she said don't ever use that term.
But the hate and anger and fear inside of him will surface again and again.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
To my point, the Republican Party is already anticipating that he will lose, and they will again say it was stolen. Even his knucklehead rednecks are on board.
If Trump wins, will you accept the results?
Of course.
If Kamala wins, will you accept the results?
No. No, because it won't be possible. It'll be an absolute canard. Nobody's really voting for
but you gotta, when you listen to yourself say that, that's gotta be a red flag, right?
Yeah, no, it's not. Listen to what the Democrats say.
So say it again. If Donald Trump wins this election, will you accept the results?
Yes.
If Kamala Harris wins this election, will you accept the results?
No.
I mean, you gotta hear what that sounds like, right?
I don't care what it sounds like.
7 states with conservative legislatures are already planning on ways to not certify a Harris win.
Unbowed by January 6 charges, Republicans pursue plans to contest a Trump defeat, written among other reporters by Jim Rutenberg at the New York Times. The Republican Party and its conservative allies are engaged in an unprecedented legal campaign targeting the American voting system. Their wide-ranging and methodical effort is laying the groundwork to contest the next election, including by attempting to short-circuit the process of ratifying the winner. Again, this is not a backward-looking article about what Trump and his allies did in 2020. This is about what they're planning on doing this year.
Now, I doubt Trump is leading them on. He doesn't have to. They learned from 2020, and with the backing of Alito and Thomas, they believe they have a real chance of thwarting the state's popular vote for Harris. Unless, of course, we say something.
At the end of the day, what they tried to do in 2020 didn't work for their purposes, right? And I just want to say a lot of legal experts believe this won't work either. But what we do know is that there's a lot going on across this country to look at that certification process and change it.
Trump can say anything to his base, and that means Republicans, fearful of his deliverance appeal, they'll tuck back their junk and make a squat on the Bill of Rights just for Fat Donnie. They have learned well from Tiny Fingers, and I swear, if Trump came out and said,
I lost, Biden won, we should come together for the country,
they wouldn't believe it.
Obama is playing Sleepy Joe Biden in a mask.
How did this happen? How did we get to this place where this guy is their role model, their leader, their spiritual muse?
If Jesus came down and was the vote counter, I would win California, okay?
Although I will say some have surprised me.
I voted for Donald Trump. Not my proudest moment. I will not be voting for him again.
Voted Republican in 2016, but not for Trump. I would not vote for Trump.
I guess we're going to find out. The question is, when Trump loses, is it possible he might give in to his mental breakdown and step aside to live his remaining years playing golf and talking to himself? Maybe. The mind is a powerful thing. But just to be safe, vote anyway.
Damn right.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Trust me.
Shut the fuck up, guys.
Who's with me? Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.